Oppressive states cannot rule innocent people for decades. A state can have weapons, soldiers, laws, borders, and still be dead from the inside. Because real power is not sustained by force, it is sustained by something more delicate and far harder to counterfeit: legitimacy. Without legitimacy, power is nothing but the occupation of space. It can still move troops, it can still collect taxes, it can still enforce laws, but each action costs more. The system stops flowing and starts grinding. What once worked by assumption now works by friction. When a state is legitimate, however, obedience does not feel like submission. It feels like order, like an accepted limit. When it ceases to be so, every law waits, every tax hurts, every police officer looks like an enemy. Not because people have become rebellious, but because the pact was broken. Here lies the classical confusion. But the state is still in power. Yes, even a dead body still occupies space. The physical continuity of power is not the same as its real validity. An illegitimate state does not govern, it manages its own erosion. And what happens when legitimacy erodes? First, the state can no longer sustain itself from within. It has to surveil more, punish more, control more. Every resource diverted to repression is a resource no longer invested in development. The more a state represses, the less it can build. Power begins to consume itself. Then something more serious occurs. A state that cannot sustain itself internally seeks support from the outside. Alliances, protection, forced pacts. And that is where dependency begins. An illegitimate state does not negotiate, it submits. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Internal illegitimacy translates directly into external subordination. Not because the world is cruel, but because power can smell weakness. Illegitimacy, then, weakens the state both from within and from without. And pay attention to this. Illegitimate states are not only fragile for themselves, they are fragile for their allies as well. They are a crutch, a weak point, a problem that consumes resources. That is why, even with external support, their time is limited. Now the key question: why does a society stop legitimizing its state? There are two main reasons. Either what the society considers ethical changes, or the state betrays the very values it claimed to defend. In both cases, the result is the same. The system becomes obsolete. And here emerges the central thesis. Empires do not fall first because of wars. They fall because of ethical degradation. War comes later, as consequence, as closure. A legitimate state can absorb external crisis. An illegitimate one cannot. It may appear strong, but any blow passes through it. It may appear stable, but any pressure breaks it. There is, however, a serious objection. History is full of legitimate states that were defeated. States with internal support, with cohesion, with moral authority that still lost territory or even disappeared. Legitimacy then does not protect against force. It does not stop tanks. It does not intercept missiles. If this were false, no strong state would ever be attacked. And yet, the pattern persists. Legitimate states are attacked as rivals. Illegitimate ones are attacked as openings. When a ruler is perceived as weak, not morally but structurally, aggression becomes calculable. The question is no longer can it resist, but how much will it cost? Legitimacy does not guarantee survival, but illegitimacy guarantees vulnerability. And that is the silent law of power, not written into constitutions, not announced in speeches, but always enforced. History does not punish weak states. It punishes states that have ceased to be credible. And once that support is gone, power is only the occupation of space.